Alright, 2024. It is coming to a close. So, we are going to take time to think about everything that happened this year with Crying Wolf production, all that. We have been very busy this year producing videos, music, models, playing too many video games. Oh my god.
I have changed my mind.
I have changed my mind.
I have changed my mind.
Yes. Always goes well. Regardless, we're going to sit down and talk about everything that we went through this year, everything we created, and what we can look forward to in 2025. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, 2024. It's been a year. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Yes.
It's been a long and roller coaster year, to say the least.
Yeah, gonna have to agree with you. Well, shit, we have a lot of stuff to go over for this, well, we have some questions that you wanted to, go over and I wanted to go over, for everybody that tunes in to everything we make all the time. Just some, we're gonna go over how we feel about, everything as a whole in, 2024. Isn't that right?
Well, a few different things anyway, at least.
Right. Um, First question, how are you feeling about production on Growing Wolf? Just in
Want me to
general.
start with this one?
Yeah, you can start.
Well, I I'm very tough with these kinds of questions, but
His top goes off. His top goes off. Yeah. Oh yeah, hold on. You can continue. I will mute my mic temporarily.
Right. Well, I haven't really done anything like this before. Not really, anyway. So getting involved, I think I started editing maybe before the start of this year, but not long before the start of this year. But since then, I've also kind of gotten to try out making music, which was really quite fun. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope to do more of that in the future. Um, as we've got a doggy alert on the other side, she's still absent. But I've also had a try helping with making videos. We put out that making of video that was, I think, originally something that I brought up.
Yeah, that was something that you originally brought up, and then the more we talked about it, we really liked the idea.
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll just have to have a dog as the third speaker here. She's got some thoughts too. Well, both the dogs have thoughts. I've kind of, all thought to miss out. It's have you thoughts?
Well, I do have some thoughts. Literally, my dogs have chosen to beat the shit out of each other at the perfect moment. As we started recording this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Now she has a squeaky toy. Fantastic.
I don't think too many people are gonna.
No, but I still think it's funny. So just so I'm not speaking here. I really think that this year was like really solid on the production standpoint. And by that I mean overall we got some really cool content out. A lot of videos, a lot of trailers came out this year. We got 2 for the series overall. And we got we got our fantastic voice actor for Abelzeth in there. Who we
I was
will
the first one.
yeah, you were the first you were the first one.
It was rough. It was really rough.
Yeah, I remember you like took out your voice at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
Um
And like I layered like 50 like voices over the top of each other and like chopped them up like
yeah.
the hell. It was really bad. But the voice line was only like 8 seconds, something like that. So I
We
made
had
it through
to
it.
we had to pull in uh I do not want to like say his like creator name because we are or unless shoot me trying to remember exactly what title he
Yeah,
wanted to
just
go under.
yeah.
But we pulled screw it, we pulled in for this and it turned out really good. He did a absolutely fantastic job. And we have oddly enough
You can just say his name and then like bleep it out. Like you could ask him
yeah,
and like bleep
I'll
it out.
ask him.
Yeah.
Um and then so we brought like I said in to do the voice acting for Abelzeth and we will be seeing more of him doing that. We just need to understand what his schedule is going to be like in the next you know, few months, stuff like that. And we also need to get going for the voice acting on Klein because for some reason the only voice actors we have are voicing 2 of our most disturbing and disgusting villains. It is hilarious. Um,
Yes. Vile villains, you could say. Yeah.
oh god, they're terrible.
Capital V's.
Capital V's. Um, considering that Klein is forever a running joke in the Discord at this point because he's just that bad. Um, yeah. So next question: what do you think we did really well, and what do you think we can do better? Colm, you can if you want to start that off.
Oh, what do I think we did really well, or doesn't really matter, does it? Well,
Hmm.
I was fairly happy with anything kind of audio related that I did this year. I did some like other kinds of work too that I was pretty happy with some poetry and stuff. I don't know if too many people really read that, but I had a lot of fun with it.
I
I think it
mean,
was good.
you've been working on you help out with adding some new content with to CW, and one thing that we added recently was this really budding relationship with Tyr and Clara, and you did some work with that, which turned out gorgeous, by the way. You also helped with the new intro for book 2. That is such a good intro. That is such a good intro.
It's
Um,
uh it's quite a showstopper.
I absolutely agree.
If you want to put it one particular way, yeah.
I'm gonna move my mic back a bit so it's popping less. I don't know why it does this, but yeah, but like what do you think we could have done better?
Um, we're still really only getting into the video editing stuff, both on mine and your end. Like,
Agreed.
there's some good parts of it. There's a lot to be improved too. Um, I think. I certainly feel that way about my own anyway. I do feel like I can do better in pretty much anything that I'm doing, from editing to music to video editing.
I mean,
Yes, that's
cause
script editing, video editing.
right. I mean, considering that we're doing really well with what we have, like this is I know your first year with video editing. This is my first year with it as well. 3D modeling. This is our first year with that. It's looking gorgeous. I'm not gonna lie. From what we have done, it all looks really good. I know we discussed potentially 3D modeling monsters in the future, but we just don't currently have the time because we're trying to get book the first book ready to publish. Praying 2025 is the year that we do that, but I really think overall what we could one thing that I really want to like focus on is potentially like right now the business wise it's pretty slow. Well, I'd like to bring on more help. I've got to be a bit particular about it because in my opinion the way that we handled staff this year was a little too lenient and resulted in some terrible times for us. So like, well, I would really want to bring in some more some more staff, some more hands to like potentially look at advertising because I don't touch advertising for good reason. I'm terrible at it. But overall I think that yeah, I think we need to handle staff a little bit better. I know we've tightened the restrictions on a lot of things like character sponsors, very tight restrictions now. Same with staff. Every single staff member has to have Crying Wolf knowledge because this is literally what we do. This is our Forerunner series. If you don't know any knowledge on it, it just makes doing your job hard, right? So, but that's my opinion on that. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, I mean, well, I thought really like, okay, I know like industry wise, people probably take on jobs for things that they aren't familiar with yet. Is the thing, but
Yes.
like, there's no way that you really work any kind of long term on a project if you don't really know the source material. I don't think that makes that much sense
Yeah,
at all.
and considering how much time and energy goes into this, like we just broke the 800,000 word mark on the Crying Wolf series. Like that's a lot of content.
It's a lot of
Um
words.
that's a lot of words. Yeah, that's a lot of content and not knowing that is kind of you can't really do your job very well with our team in particular, especially
I
because
struggle
we're nerds.
sometimes, and I've read a lot of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, there's times where I'm the creator of the series, and there are times where like, Colm will be like, "Oh, this, and this happened." I'd be like, "What?" I gotta go check too because there's so much content at this point. Like, particular details do tend to like sometimes blend together, and it's absolutely insane how
Yeah.
much content we have at this point. Um, Leading into the next question real quick, what was your favorite moment in production this year?
Hmm. Does it have to be one of my moments or any moment?
I mean, it can be any moment. It doesn't have to be anything in particular.
My favorite was being surprised with the Thousand Suns trailer. I think that was a really, really cool trailer.
Oh,
Like,
the Thousand Suns trailer. Um,
yeah,
that is that like I literally just that I learned to video edit at the same time as I was making that video. Oddly enough.
yeah,
So it was like a 12-hour production time because I had no idea what I was doing. But it was absolutely just something I just randomly thought of doing, and yeah, it kind of shows a little bit that it was my first time video editing. I think. What do you think?
maybe a little bit. I don't know. There's not really a whole lot that was, you know, missing.
Right.
Um, like, I don't know if there was a backing track. I can't remember. Like, I feel like maybe a slight backing track or something like that. But in terms of the editing standpoint, like, most of it was right. I think you used something to help you with the writing on the screen, and it just had like an arbitrary type noise, but like, you could maybe line it up, but like, you can't notice that unless you like watch it like really close. I don't think anybody else actually noticed that. You
Um,
know, any of the people watching here.
yeah, so actually I had to do each of those subtitles manually. There's a specific way in DaVinci to do that. And I had to sit
Mm.
here and watch like 6 tutorials on how to do it because I knew exactly what I was doing. I well, not what I was doing, what I wanted it to look like. So I just had to sit here and watch tutorials over and over again. And the amount of times I had the subtitles break in that video was hilarious. It was just so many times, and a couple times Tyler had to come in and help, if you remember that, because it was
Yep.
just so many times that they would just stop working or turn into like a giant box of green. Um, but I think one of my favorite production moments this year is while the making of Crying Wolf episode 1 is fantastic, what really absolutely blew everything out of the water was your amazing work on Mystic Lands. Which right now is the most viewed video on the channel. That release that you put up at 194 views. It is still going. Going
Lovely.
strong. That is amazing work. Every time you drop a new song, it just gets better. So absolutely want to give a quick congrats on that one. It's beautiful. I can't wait to hear more.
You have heard more.
Yeah.
Not everybody has. Yeah.
Yeah. And from what I have heard, it's really really good. You know.
Yeah. I don't know. I wanted to do it a little bit better. The first
Very
one that
good.
I had was good. I like the melody and stuff that I came up with, and I tried to run with it, but I wasn't the greatest with, your digital instruments yet,
Mm-hmm.
and it came out a little bit tinny.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if I can fix that now. It's a bit
It's
far gone, but
considering it's on Spotify,
yeah,
and you,
not too sure. I don't know how to do that. I don't know if you can.
I don't think you can.
I can always re-release it as like a remaster or something like that
Or
at
maybe,
some
yeah.
point down the line.
It in that case, it'd probably go into like a different album, and not in volume one, because you still haven't quite finished volume one and put the entire album up.
Hmm.
Um, okay, let's go on to the next question before we we continue with the tangent. Um, are there any wild ideas you want to explore this year, in this upcoming year?
Well, I love to code. I love to do stuff with codes and computers and stuff, and I make games in the past. I'd like to explore how possible it would be to start putting stuff down in assets. And like sticking it together, having a sort of a crude fundamental on a game,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. From there, you could maybe pitch it as its own thing. I don't really know, but I just want to do it because it's something that would be fun for me.
Right, and we did talk about potentially, because one of the other projects we work on the side is our 80 Steps to Chaotic Death mod pack for Lethal Company, and that's resulted in some stupidity, but we have talked about potentially modding the Were Elk, LK09 into the game, and having some, like, really interesting interactions, but I know we also have talked about a, like, For Honor, Overwatch mixed type shooter game. A lot
Sure.
of concepts we bounced around for that.
It'd be more of like a MOBA than that. I don't. I mean, I'm sure that some of the characters do in fact shoot, but
Yeah, yeah, some of them do, like Skylar and Soul use bows, and Kane and his pistol. Um,
Lame and Marco both have pistols.
yeah.
Tier shoots
Kind of he gets his hands on whatever firearms he can find. You know,
hmm
he's
and
Tier.
Eris, obviously.
Oh yes, Eris with her giant goddamn sniper
Like
rifle.
like elephant gun mixed with a 50 cal.
That is true. That thing
Yeah.
absolutely shreds. It's fantastic.
Yep. It's it's quite something in the books too.
Oh.
You'd probably have to read a fair bit in as a warning.
Yeah. You do have to read quite a fair bit until we get our ghost characters in there. But Eris is absolutely just ridiculous with that sniper rifle. And when Tyr was testing it, the just the way he was like absolutely like being a gun nut during that scene. It was
Yep.
just hilarious. And
Did you
like,
have any
hmm?
wild ideas of your own?
Considering that right now I'm working on book 4, right? Book 4 is the one that needs editing. Sweet God. It was in such a bad state when I started editing it, and like all the other books needed it, sure. Like book 1 especially was a mess. It still needs a little bit more before it's the final draft is ready. Um but like but book 4 was oh god. Like it was excruciatingly short considering what it was supposed to be, and some of the transitions were really insanely painful. And like as you've been reading it, you've been seeing how I've been fixing that. But like one thing that I'm really going into, that's going to be pretty wild, is that book 4 is going to have a lot of political turmoil along with the war going on. Um, and that's something that I only speak so much about in the CW. So I've been like really wanting to pull some of that out. And I have no experience working with that kind of writing, but we're gonna do it anyway. I know you've read a little bit of it. I just wrote a chapter the other day that you read.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it always adds a bit of like layers to anything that's going on. You know, it makes your reader think about stuff. It's intrigue. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's intriguing.
Yeah, it's
Um,
it's intriguing.
so
Considering we have goodness, we have a lot of action with the All King in this book as well because of that.
mhm.
Alberus and Aurelius. Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of action with him in this book. And that's he used to have like very minimal like anything in the series, but I know in the past few books we have brought him in for some very like lore shit. Um,
Yeah, I think like in large part it's because the silence as a whole usually operates more as like a band of rebels, band of resistance almost.
yeah,
Uh, Although they do get, you know, as things heat up, they join in with the rest of. They become more a part of Harrenfell and
right.
everything. Not that they ever were not, just it becomes, you know, they spend less time as just a band of rebels, of resistance. They're not really rebels, I suppose. They become less of just a band of resistance and move towards more of a integral part of Harrenfell and its future.
Right. I absolutely agree. And I think that's going to lead to some really wild moments, and I absolutely I definitely in book 4 I've been exploring some really brutal imagery. Like we've had brutal imagery in the past, but like it really amps up a lot in book 4. Pretty much because it's supposed to be blinders off Nightmare Fest. It's that way on purpose. So, and you've read some of that like really brutal imagery that we've been putting into practice here.
I encourage it.
You encourage it. That is true. You absolutely encourage it. It's hilarious. Like I'll be sitting there just like, I don't know, is this too much? He's like, more. More.
Yeah.
Give me more. I'm like, oh, for God's sake. Okay,
Look,
that.
brutality can be a part of immersion, and I definitely like to lean towards making things more immersive
Oh, absolutely. And like,
in books, especially like games. I like to spend a lot of time focusing on uh, fundamentals, on gameplay. But
mhm.
when you want to tell a story, and books are meant for telling stories, um, immersion is massive.
Yeah, agreed. And like considering how humble of a beginning CW has, Crying Wolf as a whole, you've read the documents that are sitting on my shelf still. I've had these since I was like, oh shit. Rather young, back when I first presented the idea.
Like
Um
nine.
no, those are a little bit older.
Right, right.
Yeah, those are like late middle school, early high school. They are a blue and orange folder with the original printed copies of Crying Wolf in it. Had very humble beginnings, and if anybody's watching that remembers that presentation, fantastic, welcome back. Like, cause I presented Crying Wolf as an
Yeah, like
idea
a
in
show
front
and
of.
tell.
Yes, it
Like,
was huge. I actually
yeah.
like I got my confidence together. I had like this stack of printed letters that I handed to each of the people that I wanted taking part in this at the time. And everybody arrived in the like I had I remember it was our history teacher's classroom, and I got to
Mm.
I borrowed his projector for it and everything. And
You commandeered the
I
classroom.
I absolutely commandeered the classroom that lunch for that presentation, and that was the first time I had ever presented Crying Wolf. It was very humble. So
Yeah. Well, it's been a reasonably long time since then.
oh shit,
I'm
yeah.
sure things, when you look at them, things probably have changed quite a lot.
I mean, you've read them. They are oh boy, they are very rough. Considering that the first copy of book one is like a sixth or a seventh the size of book one right now. Um, it's tiny.
Yeah. I'd say, obviously, like the size of the book isn't necessarily related to how good it is, but
But like I prefer this now. It's so good.
yeah, I'm sure that it wasn't small because it was too good to expand upon.
No, it was
Uh,
small because I was still understanding. One, I was not the greatest at writing at the time, at that age. I was not the greatest socially. I was not the greatest at writing. I wasn't that great at a lot of things. I was still learning to do this. And I still am. I learn every day. How to continue this project. Um, so like it wasn't that great. What I presented was very admittedly horrible. It was terrible. I still have the presentation document, the Crying Wolf dossier. It's still it's unchanged. It has remained unchanged since that day, and it still chills in my in my documents.
did you have
Um,
any spare letters?
oh shit, I think I do. I honestly think I do.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there was one that did not make it out, and I had to send out a text to that person to get him that notification. He declined the invitation, of course. But yes, I do have that letter still. It has remained unopened since that day.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
Were
like
they
a
all personal letters or like
some of them a little bit. Other ones were like not that personal. Yeah, it was wild. As Rocket starts giving me kisses. Okay. Okay. So with that in mind, we are going to move on to the question of what's your favorite part
But
about
what
the
was your wild
series?
idea?
The wild no, that's fair. The wild idea was like putting in brutality and like politics to a level that we've
Okay,
never done before.
right.
Yeah, but you're like, wait, I'm not done with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but next question, what's your favorite part about the series?
I'm like favorite scene, favorite like element, theme.
I
What?
mean, it can, well, considering the question after that is what's your favorite book in the series so far, you can go into like favorite part about the series, like it could be elements, it could be scenes or whatever, as long as we're not spoiling anything.
Uh um I'm gonna have to like say, probably I feel like the relationships can be really strong in certain parts of the book and definitely elevate a lot of the literal like the smaller moments of the book or several books, all the books, the series,
Mm-hmm.
as it were. Um, and that only gets stronger the more books you read
That's fair.
because you feel like you know uh, they've actually gathered these experiences and these like emotional connections between each other. Um, and I can respect that. It looks it feels really good to read that sometimes.
Yeah, that's understandable. Can you believe that we used to not have a good 90% of those relationships and interactions?
I will okay, yeah. Missing the interactions, sure. I was just gonna say like it doesn't really matter too much if they were like in a relationship, if that's what you mean, or
Yeah, no, a lot of the romance aspects did not come in until like last year, 2022. Or not 2022. Shoot, 2023.
yep,
God,
there's a whole
me.
year in between
Yeah,
there.
it is a whole year. There's a whole year. My bad.
I think everybody's, like perception of time has been warped since COVID,
Oh my God,
and
that's
it's gonna
true.
stay
That's
that way
so
until
true.
like 2040. So
Oh, even 2040, we're gonna be like, oh yes, it's
it's
20.
like 2 years ago. It was like
Yeah,
I just finished that making of video. Wait,
that was 20 years ago, Colm. Oh God.
yeah.
um. Oh goodness.
So were you getting to a favorite part of the series for you?
Ooh, shoot. Um, considering how much the series has changed for me, like I mean I've been writing it since I was about 10. It's gone from rather like basic basic ideas and just basic storyline to like we're over here writing like entire religions, we've got languages planned, we have countries and continents and politics and oh my god. Um Gosh, gotta say, getting to put more work into some of these characters has been fantastic. Like, I have been a fangirl for my own characters since I started. And the characters have changed quite a bit. Like,
Yep.
quite a few of them underwent design changes and name changes and all that, but they've still remained the same in my heart, you know? Especially after we ended the cast member program and replaced it with the character sponsor program, um, which pretty much rewards the people that want to take part in the series and want to support their favorite characters. I think that was a really important change instead of the cast member program. So making all these characters into fully fledged feeling free characters was just fantastic. Um but particularly the Saints in general. I've never gotten to put so much work into the Saints before, except this past year. The amount of just lore dump relationships. Oh my good god. The amount of it is insane. And like we got to work on the family tree a bit. We got to work on like in it I'll probably pull it up on screen for like a few seconds. It's massive. We basically have like the parents of the saints and then the saints and like their siblings who they're married to, um and then we have the grandkids and then the great grandkids and then the great great grandkids under that, because like genealogy is absolutely a thing that is important in this, especially considering how complex that gets real quickly. Especially when we bring like Ilios and Saren and Marina and Terrafer in their family tree, connecting to like Saren and Kira. Overall, like them being siblings expands the family tree, and then Cain and Bone being siblings expands it even more, and it's like it's this big old tree. And also our characters gained last names. Um, so
Right.
like the only ones that had last names I think was Ivan Edward.
Hmm.
Yeah, like Kane, Kira, none of these guys had last names. Really went into that to more solidify the genealogy, but yeah, overall it
You
was a
know, my
fantastic
head
year for that.
takes these things and just runs them into their own places.
Oh, I know. Oh, yeah. It just when you get a hold of them, you're like, yes, yes, perfect. We're not good. We're going to move this here and maybe this here, and I'm like, oh boy.
Yes, I just come up with an entire like headcanon backstory that doesn't exist.
I mean, considering you're working on a headcanon backstory that I'm officially supporting, um, as a fan fiction, that kind of goes into Albus and Morelius, Morelia and Morelius, Atroxier, Kanan Sturlus, Amira Sturlus, all these basically
Hmm.
the parents of Kane and Kira and how all that started with Atroxier.
Yeah,
Um
it's kind of a prequel to the entire conflict of Harrenfell. So.
yeah, it absolutely is. And I think he went into the kind of the creation of Kanan and Amira Sturlus as a couple too, and
Hmm.
the how Kira and Kane were kind of like born, I believe.
I don't know if I had thought
Or
up that far.
I did, yeah, I wasn't sure how far you thought of it, but yeah, no, so that's a thing. But kind of went long there, but yeah, that's how it is for me.
Yeah.
Next is favorite book in the series so far.
Ooh. I'd like to say seven.
You
It
like to
has my
say seven.
favorite moments.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Unfortunately, seven I I've read in probably the worst fashion
That's
of all the
true.
books.
Oh my god, that's so true.
So like I've kind of leapfrogged around in book seven, but there's a certain like run of chapters that I got to read all in chronological order,
Mm-hmm.
and um, that is undoubtedly my favorite like moment. You know, favorite part of the series.
That was the Maze of the Mists arc, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I absolutely love that part. But I don't know if I can call book seven my favorite based like only on this small portion of what is going to be an absolutely gigantic book
Yeah,
that
that's
I
true.
kind of haven't really read like yet. So I'm gonna limit it to just books that I've finished or are like close to finished. So that would be like
Hmm.
1, 2, 3, and 5.
You can also count 4. 5 is
I
pretty
don't
much
know.
on the same level as 4. 5 is
Okay.
also going to be pretty long, so you can count those two.
Yeah, because at 4 I'm about halfway, maybe,
With the
if
rate
you
that I
want to
keep
call it.
adding shit, it's more like a third,
Yeah.
but 4 still kind of counts. You can still
What?
count 4.
Okay. And how far 5?
Ah,
I thought I was nearly finished that one.
I mean, there's still quite a bit of content I haven't written down,
Hmm.
because I've been focusing on getting the books that are done fixed, like books 1 through 4. They need to be, solid, especially because we're working on like making sure that beta readers have complete works to read. Um shoot,
I think the
I'm not
problem for
sure.
me is when I look at the books, I'm like, okay, I liked 1, but I like 2 better. I
Yeah.
like 2. I like 3 better. I like 3. I think I'm liking 4 better, but like it's
Welcome
not,
to CW.
finished. And so obviously I'm enjoying 4 so far, but maybe I liked 5 better. I'm not sure
Yeah,
about
that's
that one
fair.
yet. I haven't touched 6.
Six needs like a deity. Okay, six needs a lot of work.
It's a chance for like a massive facelift, a big renovation,
Oh, absolutely, and it needs it considering that prior to all these changes that we did with these character reworks, all these relationships and stuff didn't exist. So we have like basically it was Leo, Tara, and Joshua, and that was it for
Mhm.
descendants of the members of the Silence. Nobody else was having kids, and it just didn't make any goddamn sense. So when I started writing in all these relationships and stuff like that, like Silas, Rose, Marco, Luna, Liam, Flora, Tyr and Clara, Skylar, Flare. I knew full well that I was just like, there's no way, there's no way that none of them just had no kids. So now I'm having to go in and write the existence of some of these kids, and like considering the demi-human couples, they can have between 1 and 3 kids of equal chance that they can have 1 to 3 cubs at once, because that's
Yeah,
how
they're equally likely to have 3 kids as they are to have 1.
correct.
Yeah,
um so they're
they can
like,
probably still have more than 3.
yes, but like it's usually just
Same
one to
way that
three
we can have one more than 1, but
Yes.
like it's a limited chance of that, just like it's a limited chance that we have more than 1. But they have an equally chance of 1, 2, or 3.
Right. So I'm having to like decide, okay, who has kids, who does not? More than likely none of them, because good God, that's like there's like a 20-year jump in for to book 6. There's like a 20-year jump. I'm like, okay, somebody's going to have someone. There's no way that they're not having kids, especially because it's something that these couples do talk about during the war. They're going to have kids. So it's trying to figure out, especially with the demi-human couples, how many are there? I have to name
Everyone
them
that
all.
lives,
I have
probably.
to, yeah, everyone that lives. I have to name them all. I have to give them designs. I have to give them personalities. So that's why book 6 is not touched by either of us at the moment.
Yeah, and then
Oh my goodness. Okay.
7 again. Like, I like 4 and 5, but you know, considering 7, I probably liked it more. But there's only so much of 7 that I've read. I'd say the same thing. There's only so much of 4 I've read. So I'll kind of leave it with you on that one. Whichever one you consider to be, I've read enough to say it's my favorite.
Ooh, considering I'm
Like if it was like it was just like, okay, 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 7. which I'm not really sure if about 4 and 5 they might be switched, but
Honestly, it's gonna be one of those things where, like, because I'm the creator, I know where all the story is going. I honestly think that it's either gonna be for you between 4 and 7,
yeah,
potentially even 5. Especially because 5 still needs a little bit more work.
I think 5 started really really strong.
5
Um,
does indeed start really strong.
and there's some really good moments in there. I
Mhm.
read that one very fast. For what it's
Yeah.
worth.
Um, no, I think for me, knowing where like everything is going, I am tied myself between books 4 and 5.
You are tied on your favorite between 4 and 5.
Between 4 and 5.
Mm.
Book 7 is a chaos fest, and I'm still writing it. I love book 7. I adore it. It is so over the top. It is so goofy. It is so like heart-wrenching to work on. Especially because like there's some really rough moments in book 7. Like I absolutely love where book 7 is going. It'll probably end up being my favorite in the end. But like it's not nearly complete enough to say it is my favorite right now. Like there are some really rough scenes in there. You are fully aware how rough that gets.
Yep.
So yeah, right now it's between 4 and 5.
Okay. Um.
Let's see. Favorite character slash characters.
Okay. The way I'm just gonna do this is I'm gonna be like, what's my favorite characters in each book? Like favorite
Oh,
character
I
or each
see.
characters in the books, because not every character's in every book,
Mm-hmm.
for starters, and also some characters personally shone for me in some books more than others.
Right, that's fair. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Um,
You can just list them off real quick.
so in book one, my favorite character was probably just Iva.
Bet, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it was that close.
That's fair. A lot of the other characters did not get as much
Um,
screen time.
in book two, my favorite character was Kane.
That, yeah.
Um, in three was Klein.
Yeah, Klein. Klein for the
Yeah.
win.
Four so far. Um, four so far, I'd say. Hmm, Edward or Iva, I'm not sure. Probably Iva again.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Edward. Five, it was Sly.
Yep.
Um, six, I haven't touched, and
Mm-hmm.
seven, it's Saren.
Yep. I figured. Oh, for me, I will do the same format. Book one, gonna have to agree with you. Iva is
The star.
fantastic. The star, absolutely. Um, she absolutely rocks it as per usual. Um, book two, ooh, honestly, I'm really torn between Kane and Iva on that.
Mm,
They were both fantastic in that. Um,
no, no shots over at Kira in that book. She kind of goes a little sassy.
Kira was really starting to like the progression that her character goes through is really really good.
Yeah.
Um, but I really like her in book 3 more. Um,
Mm-hmm.
gotta say in book 3 I really like speaking from me that worked with these characters to create them. Honestly, I love God, there's multiple characters I love in book 3. Of course, like
Oh yeah.
uh
There's the gods and everything too. They do a
oh
lot
my
in
god,
three.
yeah. Um,
Yeah, and
got
then you've
got
got the
gotta give
villains
gotta give a
in
shout out
Brian and
to
Sly. And
gotta give a shout out to Carathane in book 3. Holy shit, he's so fun. He is so
Yeah.
hilarious. The interactions he has with Edward specifically are just hilarious. Um, I think you know what chapter I'm talking about. The
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the literal, just the absolute no filter towards Edward, and Edward cannot handle it. It
Well,
is so
none of the
hilarious.
gods have filters.
No,
They're
no.
real strange. Like they're kind of wow. They're goofy and alien at the same time. So
Yeah, yeah, gotta say it is tied between, like, of course, the this all the saints. They were all fantastic in book 3, and honestly, Klein and Carathane. They were all just
that's
really good.
you are tying it between like
Yeah,
seven
7
characters.
characters. Got to work a lot with Bone on book 3 as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But like he just
There's a
didn't
lot
really
of good
shine.
characters. There are a lot of good characters. I'm just I went off of it and like it doesn't really matter how close it is to me. There's still going to be somebody in my head that's probably shines more than the other ones. And
Right,
that was the
exactly.
list that I gave you.
Book 4. Oh dear God. Ooh. Oh, I really like working with Sly and Edward, and Kane
Mm,
as well. Kane has some absolutely bomb ass scenes in book 4. He
yeah,
is just an absolute goddamn trooper. I love working with Kane. All 3 of the boys, fantastic to work with. Um, the girls just as good. But like I particularly love working with Edward and Sly on that, and Kane. Those 3 in book 4, fantastic. Book 5.
no nods
Ooh,
to villains
ah, I I have some
in
stuff
3
planned
or
for them.
4. All right, all right.
Well, I said Klein in 3,
Did you right? Right.
right? Klein is fantastic. He will always be the goat.
He
Book
shines a lot in that book,
he
particularly.
absolutely does. In book 5, gotta say Sly. Honestly, Sly.
Yeah, I think it's kind of. I mean, unless the end chapters that haven't happened yet changes things, it's pretty like.
It's pretty unanimous that the best arc is Sly. He gets so
Yeah.
much. The poor dude deals with so much shit, and I'm like, oh no. That is like the most brutal book for Sly, other than book 7. Book 7's pretty hard for him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Especially considering how far in the future book 7 takes place and everything he had to experience. Yeah, there's some pretty brutal scenes with Sly in book 7. But yeah, book 5, Sly for sure has the best going ons. His interactions with Iva and Edward and that, particularly Iva, are very
And some
sweet.
new characters.
Oh yeah, we get Ace, Ash, and Nero. Nero.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Toph having to put in her opinion. Nero is fantastic. I love Nero. He's such a weirdo. Nero is a fantastic villain. Book,
Yeah.
um, book 6. There are so many spoilers. I can't even fully say my favorite one of book 6 because of
No,
spoilers.
I'm not talking about that book at all. So like, it's fine. I think you could just ignore it if you want.
No, I still have a favorite character I really like enjoyed in book 6, even with the way it is right now. And so like it's subject to change. But I really love
Yeah.
working with honestly, Leo, Tara, and Joshua are just so fun to work
All the
with.
main characters. Okay, you're not gonna pick one.
Well, Joshua in particular, but like it's kind of tied with like Tara because Tara is such an explosive personality. Um, she is so explosive. It is hilarious. Like she didn't get any of her parents like calmness at all. More so like Kira's like what's going on with Kira and all that. A little bit of that, but she acts more like ooh shit. She acts more like Iva. It's hilarious.
Mm.
So like she's very explosive, and I love just writing her just out of the box.
Trash.
Yeah, I love writing that, but yeah, Joshua takes the spotlight on that one. Book 7, oh dear god. We have so many characters in book 7. We have so many characters that die in book 7. Holy shit.
Mm.
I think there's a death count of like 6. Like rather early on, like 6. It's insane how many characters that like we introduce and then just die in horrible ass ways.
I mean, are you planning on picking a dead character?
No, I'm not. But like it's the understanding that there's so many of them and there's so many that die. Oh god. Gotta say, gonna have to agree Saren is my favorite. Saren is absolutely my favorite. Well, I love Marina. It is just a bit too real for me sometimes. Saren is fantastic. I love Saren. I absolutely just love writing about Saren, and perhaps that is a bit of a curse because there's so much content with Saren in it, but like it's important for the book, so it's fine. Um, so yeah, that's my favorites.
Yeah. I don't know. I like that format. I'm like, what am I supposed to do if I didn't do it like that? You know, am I supposed to go as Saren in one book versus like Iva in 5, like or 6? You know, or all 7 really. I don't even know. So it's kind of
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah, it is tough. Speaking of Saren, did you want to like talk about your experiences of working with him, considering that he is based on you, and we have very characters left. There are very few characters that we have based on like us in particular. Like for me, it's Morena, especially for Tyler, the husband. It is Terrafer, and for you, it's Saren. So, any thoughts on your experience with him?
Well, I'm probably gonna have to reiterate a little bit of what I said in the making up video because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I have like too much more to say about it. Like it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like it's really unusual, but like not in a bad way, you know, not at all. To sort of like get to experience a perspective on yourself that's sort of outside of yourself, but in a very creative kind of way. Um, it can be sort of reflective in a way, but I don't know. I have a blast with it. I think he gets a lot of cool arcs and stuff, which is kind of flattering in a way, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
That uh, he gets a lot of cool stuff going on with the story and with the action and all that. So
Right. Yeah. Agreed.
I'm not too sure if I've got too much more to add on that, but it's really cool getting to see it all both visually too because you do make art
Yeah, I
for
do.
this stuff, and I also get to watch his journey um as it's reflective in a way. Like I said, you do sometimes see like the similarities and so on, and uh in large part, to me, it feels more like watching somebody similar to you um, go through the events of the story. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like how they would act in the story, and where it does pay sort of homage is it's kind of a flattering moment. You know, you can't help but smile at that, or shed a little tear at times, you know?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Um, So if you don't have anything else to add, what are you looking forward to this next year?
Well,
2025.
reading more. That would be fun. I'm looking forward to that for sure. The books are still sort of making their way to their completions. I'm looking forward to reading them all. Hopefully, I can read all of the books by the end of that year. I wonder. That's up to you, I think. Um,
I mean,
and
considering how much I've been writing recently, maybe, but like it just
yeah,
depends on where we go with publishing on the first one this year.
well, yeah, no, but I mean, like, regardless of publishing, I would like
I mean, that's fair.
to read the books for sure. That's something that I'm looking forward to. I think. Another thing would be more music. I think I've still got a lot to improve on, and it would be fun to release something really, really good. Um,
When it comes to the music, I know we've talked a little bit about potentially creating that. Ignore my dog. Oh my god. That we've talked about. There's a scene in book 4 where Fletcher and Flair have like a duet. We've talked a bit about that piece, and we've also talked a bit about Sly's Lament. So like overall, I am very much looking forward to whatever you come up with in 2025 music wise.
mhm. And if I get the chance to experiment a little bit with my wild idea, that would be a fun thing to look forward to in the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, seeing what I can make asset wise and creation of towards making games, uh, or a game. You know,
Yeah. Uh,
I don't foresee myself actually producing anywhere near an entire game, but I would like to see how possible it is, produce some sort of concept of it, because that's something that I'm both, you know, fairly decent at, and it's interesting to me. A lot of things are interesting to me, but you know, I started with a games design course like a good while ago at university. Uh, I made a few games there. I made games in a workshop. Um, they're all kind of like amateurish, but they lacked a little bit of passion. I wasn't feeling the best. A lot of changes in my life at the time, and I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that the classroom was ever really a good fit for me.
that's fair.
Um, I learn a lot quicker by myself, and the whole memory game of playing the education game is a little bit for me it wasn't too difficult. It was just it's quite a drone, and it kind of took a lot of the passion out of it, and for a while I never really
Business.
wanted to look at it again. you know I didn't think I didn't think I would ever feel like, hey, I really want to make a game again. So
I mean, one thing that we've talked about is potentially having like this interactive character in Lethal Company as it is the Were Elk, and how like we'd have like these like really cute interactions and all that stuff because like we'd be able to interact with this character top child. We'd be able to have all these cute interactions with this character. And the Werelk is both horrifying and but absolutely can be adorable. And I think that would be a good test, but I know we've still discussed, okay, how can we
mm,
model him?
I don't
Um,
know how much of a test that is in terms of like making a game, but at least it's a test of putting sort of Triangle into a game format, I guess.
yeah.
Um,
Like really testing, our model capabilities, our sound capabilities, our like animation capabilities, things like that. It would definitely be a test, and not to mention it would just be adorable. Um,
mhm.
But especially if we can get his like little tail to like start going, that would be
Hmm.
hilarious because he has
I
that itty
actually
bitty tail.
just remembered something that I'm pretty excited about is building a website.
Oh yeah, because you're working on getting that domain for the
Yeah.
website.
Um.
Yeah, that's already in the works. So.
Yep. Uh, Once I get the domain, I already have a machine I can technically host a website on. I
Mm-hmm.
might get something a little bit less.
Playing with toys on the
Yeah,
back.
I might try and get something a little bit more suited for it potentially
Right.
around that time because this works. It's just
Uh,
it's a bit too much power for what I need it for.
mm-hmm.
It kind of costly running it like that. So
Mm-hmm.
um and isn't necessarily designed for it, but I can make it work. But
Right.
I'd like to see what I can do with that because I've learned a little bit about web design. For the most part, not a web designer. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not really one, but I'm good with programming, coding stuff. I can learn that stuff really quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that I'd be able to build one from scratch.
Yeah. I mean, we've also talked about like I'm working on Minecraft building maps, especially for this Pixelmon game mode. I was working on it last night on stream. It's the Pokemon Saints and Sinners server with like
Hmm.
the fully fleshed out story, and like the skins are already like made for quite a few of like the Saint skins are made. So I'm like what's unfortunate is that I have to start making the map from scratch because it really didn't transmit well between 1.16.5
Yeah,
to
versions.
1.20.1. Well, there was a lot of mods missing as well. So we're basically starting this from scratch. It's not the most like complex mod pack in the world, but like um I have to start all the building from scratch again, and that's kind of hard, but I'm using of course I'm using like Axiom for that and all that. But
Hmm.
it's one of those things where I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to I would love to 3D print the weapons.
Hmm.
Because I know
Well, at
I know
least
you
we'll,
talked
we'll
about
try and get one at least.
oh yeah, the honestly, but it'd be like a debate on which one's first because we have so many good ones. But I know you also talked about potentially cosplaying Saren, so we'd have to
Yeah,
3D model
that'd
the
be
armor
fun.
for that.
No, you wouldn't 3D model the armor. You wouldn't have to do that at all. Like, 'cause you're not gonna print armor.
I mean, you can. Like for the more complex pieces, you might have to,
Like, okay, like little bits on it. Like, if I bring it up a little bit,
because he has that like
random
skull on his
tangent.
shoulder.
Yeah, you print out like little things like that.
And
You print out the skull. Maybe a couple of spikes to stick on there, but you might get those from somewhere else. But
the claws on the ends of his fingers.
yeah, you
Those
could
I would print
potentially print
those.
those.
I
Yeah.
would print the gauntlets honestly, because they're kind of like precise.
Mm. I don't know if you would print the whole gauntlets. I think you'd rather
No,
just take like like leather gloves, cut them up a little bit, and print out
the
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 extra
pieces and
pieces.
like
Yeah.
stick them on there. Yeah, that's how I would do it as well. His rib pieces because like you see how it's like ribbed.
Mm. Yeah.
That you'd probably have to print as well, especially because like it'd have to curve
Maybe.
around the chest.
Maybe. I think you could probably just get something that's roughly the right shape and paint it.
That's
But
fair. Yeah, yeah.
um, for a lot of this, I don't think you would print. It's mostly just the skull. I think maybe some spikes if you can't find something similar.
Mm-hmm. More than likely the
Obviously the
spikes.
weapon.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's
But
such a big
what I'm
blend.
thinking of is what if I actually printed his head and I have the costume go up like over my head?
Oh my god, that would be painful. Well, I don't think we should do a headless version first because like
Yeah.
honestly, you'd probably have to do animatronic work and we don't have that skill yet.
No, you wouldn't really.
I
It would make it
wouldn't.
better, obviously, but like,
I wouldn't. I would just do with his head on, and we do the scar work and all that. Honestly, first.
yeah,
That's my dog's
yeah,
playing with a squeaky toy in my background. I'm,
yeah.
I'm, I'm gonna have like pictures of her like sliding in whenever she's about to like bark or something. Oh my god, child. Um,
Well, if you like, yeah. But
it's goofy. Oh my god.
I think that would be fun. I think there's an event in September, and I'm like
Yeah.
wondering if I can get there, get all that stuff sorted for September, and go for a bit of fun. Um, Nobody's gonna know what it is, probably.
Oh
But
no, we're gonna have to like come armed with like promotional material. We're just like, this is what we are. Don't be afraid. We're not lunatics.
I
I
come in peace.
I come in
Ignore
peace.
this giant sword.
um, honestly, it's yeah, we pretty much that. I feel like that'd be a really cool like promotional event. Do some like photo ops. I feel like that'd be really fun. Considering you've already started getting practice in with contacts, I think that would be really fun side project. I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably just show up in my suit and be your handler because like good grief. Because everybody needs a cosplay handler just to make sure the cosplayers don't get absolutely swarmed. Um,
I don't imagine I'm getting swarmed. But who
if
knows?
considering how interesting the armor looks and all that, you may get swarmed just because it's really cool looking.
Maybe. If I can make that,
Right? Yeah.
good. I think, for the most part, it's just like I'm not really going to be like looking at making the costume until like 3 months out.
I mean that makes sense. Yeah. No, that's absolutely fair. We honestly should worry about the weapons first.
I don't know. The weapons, the same thing really. Until about 3 months out, I'm not really concerned
Oh.
about the costume and all of that stuff. It would just be making sure I'm fit and healthy for it.
Yeah, because cosplaying can be kind of a can be kind of a pain. I don't see myself cosplaying any of these characters anytime soon. Mostly because I'm not. In my horrid opinion, I do not look like any of these characters whatsoever. I would be the type of person that's like, I want to print the weapons just because why not? Um,
Hmm.
and like say we got the models for the characters done for the game, and we could start mocap work and put like the little like mocap orbs on the weapons.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know if we're gonna be like mocapping that,
and,
but hey.
and all else fails. We don't know how hard that would be considering like the different like combat styles of these characters. But yeah, I don't really see myself cosplaying any of these characters. I'd absolutely go with you in my suit. Because I have Marina's suit. That's something I had, but it's not like I'm gonna have the horns or the ears for God's sake, or the tail or any of that fun
Yeah.
shindig. Especially because she's also supposed to have color like Saren. Um, so potentially I could get kind of close, but like it would be kind of hard because of Marina's ears and the
I
tail.
suppose. Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure you kind of just like get some pads and then like stick some stuff there.
It really depends. It honestly just really depends. But yeah, any further thoughts before we let everybody escape with their lives? We've kept them captive here for like an hour 15. Poor things are probably like, oh god, and my existence. Nah, you guys are fine. And anything else we want to add? That how anybody can support us, take part in it, keep up with all the shindigs and shit we do.
Well, look out for updates, I guess, and sign up to the Data Reader program if you want to read the books.
Yep.
Um,
That's true.
we've got a Discord that you can come in and ask about anything else and chat or hang out or whatever.
Hmm.
It's up to you. Two, actually.
Yeah.
lore one.
Yeah, the main one that we have is our main community, that where everybody else is. And then we have the little like side one that is just for Crying Wolf and beta reading. That we have a few people in. Because we just have so much. We have so much content sitting there. We literally have like so much reference material for people that are reading like the character designs, which I'm still working on fixing and all that.
Remastering.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not fixing.
I mean the Skylar Flare remaster turned out absolutely goddamn fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like all of them kind of did.
Yeah. And then we've got all of our monster references. The gods, a little bit like of information about the New World and Old World gods. We've got we do have some questionable content in there as well.
Yeah.
Um
We
the
might have to look at the one thing that we didn't talk about, but in the next year would be geography
Oh
maps.
yeah, we gotta do that.
Yeah.
I mean
I'm interested
we
in doing a map for my own stuff too.
right.
Uh,
Well we gotta get these continents laid out properly. We have like a terrible ancient map. It's too small, too condensed. It doesn't show everything properly. Um so that's a thing. Like we also have like the scar maps, which the scar charts, which we do have some very extensive scarring on our characters that we do have to keep track of. So you can keep track of that as well, and
I could
a
put the
rather
map
what?
on. I could put the map on the website.
Oh my god, an interactive map. That'd be cool. I feel
Yeah,
like we should
I
do
have
it.
some idea how to do that, like programmatically on like, I've made like interactive pictures before where you can click on different things and does stuff. Not exactly what perhaps the same sort of thing that we do for this, but it gives me an idea that I think I know how to do this,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be a lot of fun. You could like say click on like Harrenfell or like Subaltern or something, and it will pop up with a description. I already thought about doing like interactive character type like showcase on the website where you could like click between the characters and get like a description and so on, or maybe even click on stuff on the characters if there's anything in particular. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It sounds like a lot of fun, and that's why I really was liking the idea of making a website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like if we had a website, it would just overall be it would be a chance to really bring our characters here to life even more. Um I would love to in the future also look into some contests for our viewers and our fans and our beta readers. I'd love to have some contests like with some merch for rewards, fan art, fan fiction, um
Yeah,
things like that. I feel like that would be fantastic.
yeah,
So we'd probably use the website to keep track of that and the winners and all that stuff. So there's a lot of uses for that website.
yeah. You could put like a Dropbox on there for the competitions or something like that.
Right, exactly. And like we could put all of our Google form sign up things on there as well. Because currently all that is sitting on the fourth
Mm.
wall, the
Well,
fourth
I
wall
mean, the
website.
sign up stuff could even you could even redo on the website,
Oh yeah,
custom
yeah,
if
that's
you really
true.
wanted to.
If we could integrate it into like an inbox properly, that would be great.
Yeah, for
Considering we
sure.
don't currently get that many signups, I wouldn't mind moving everything to a more formal system.
Yeah, I mean, like I have some idea how to do. Like I've done quizzes before on programs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be a problem, and like creating some sort of inbox or output for all of those quizzes that can be read and turned into information for us to look at and review is, I mean, that's like kind of the essence of the job that I do,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
the day job that I do, that I turn data into usable stuff,
The almighty tech
or the
god.
other way back, or the other way around, as well as just random support stuff. So I
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd be able to do that. The main thing for me that I'm worried about getting right with a website is the CSS, which is sort of how it looks. That
Ah,
we're going
yeah, yeah,
for.
yeah. I've never done that either. I mean, I've kind of messed with it a little bit on Fourth Wall. But there's just so much you gotta be able
Yeah.
to do with that.
Um, I'm probably going to start with some base level, like, one that already exists, um, and modify it to our needs because, most web developers don't like writing CSS just as much as I will not like writing CSS, and they all reuse their CSS all the time and just modify it for what they need, like change colors and change locations of things. But other than that, it's all the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But with that, we should wrap things up. Thank you so much for sitting down and having this chat with me. I know we've got a lot of stuff going on. In the next month or two, we've got a big important meeting coming up. So like, thank you for taking the time out of your day to sit down and have this little podcast. At this point, that's what it is. And reflection
Yes.
on the year. I'm very excited to continue our work in 2025.
Yep. As am I. Thank you
Yeah,
for having me.
yeah, of course.
So enjoy your evenings, everybody.
Yeah, yeah. Enjoy your evenings, guys.